I have celiac disease, which means that going grocery shopping can feel extremely cumbersome because I have to look at every single label. And there is a part of me that just wants to skip that step and wants to trust that the products that I know are gluten-free are going to stay gluten-free. But every time I go grocery shopping, I try to put myself in the mindset of I need to make sure I'm checking every single label, because the time that I decide not to is usually the time where I realize, oh no, this is no longer gluten-free. Let me know if that's happened to you down below in the comments. But I'm about to go into Meijer. I need to grab orange juice because my husband is sick and I need to grab trash bags. I'm also going to go into this masked up because Kyle is sick, so I don't want to get anyone else sick because he is sick. And also, I've been coughing a little bit. I'm feeling fine, but I've had a cough since I had the flu, which was a couple of weeks ago. So I'm just going to wear a mask just in case. All right, let's get into Meijer. There are a lot of tricky labels when grocery shopping. One of the trickiest things I think for people are dried types of goods like spices or nuts and seeds. A lot of these things can come with what's known as an allergen advisory statement. If you're not familiar, an allergen advisory statement is actually something completely different than an allergen statement. In the USA, with our food labeling laws, allergen statements are always required, and this is when the company has to state if one of the top allergens is in a product. However, when it comes to an allergen advisory, this is a completely voluntary statement, and it may not always be a good indicator of gluten contamination based on data that we have. That said, I know everyone has their own unique circumstances and needs to make their own choices. I always advocate for people with celiac to make their own informed choice when it comes to selecting gluten-free food. So these walnuts are a really great example of something that has that allergen advisory. It's not the same as an allergen statement. And a lot of people with celiac likely would not feel comfortable with this, but some might, and there may be support for you not having to worry about that statement if you don't want to. Now, this is a really good time for me to pause this video here and say that if your doctor has not had any time to teach you how to read a food label to check for gluten, or if your dietitian hasn't had any time to go thoroughly into how to read food labels with celiac disease in the United States, and you want to learn how to evaluate all of the risks on a food label beyond just looking for the words gluten-free, you want to know why some people with celiac may not worry about that may contain statement and some may, and you want to make your own informed choice, I've got a completely free label reading class. It's linked down below in the description box. It is excellent. I get constant positive testimonials from this class. It changes people's lives. It teaches you how to read a food label in 4 simple steps so you can make informed, quick decisions when you're grocery shopping. It's going to help you know truly what the risks are when you're looking at a food label. If no one has sat you down and taught you how to read a food label with celiac disease, you need to take this class. It is completely free. It's linked down below in the description box. Now, typically when I'm going grocery shopping, I will order things for pickup online, or depending, I might get groceries delivered if I'm traveling or something like that. However, when I have to go into the store, I like to try to go during times that are not incredibly busy, so I don't feel rushed and I feel like I have the time and the space to spend in aisles when I'm looking at food labels and trying to decide if there's anything new I want to buy, or when I'm checking food items that I typically buy, I just want to verify are still gluten-free. Other things that really stress me out other than trying to find gluten-free products is the fact that as a fat celiac, someone who is in a larger body with celiac disease, sometimes I'm spending a lot of time reading food labels, and I can feel a different kind of burden or weight when I have to spend time reading food labels that might not be healthy or as nutritionally equivalent as other foods. So I was worried that I was gonna forget to get the trash bags, but I did not. Like, for example, if I'm standing in the aisle of baked mixes and I'm trying to find a gluten-free baking mix that doesn't have oat flour, and I'm reading all of these labels and I'm taking up all this space and time in the aisle, it can feel really overwhelming. And I also feel almost like diet culture creeping in, as if people would walk by me thinking, why would she be looking at these cake mixes? She doesn't even need them. Or why would she be buying gluten-free cake mixes? If she's on a diet, then she should just avoid them. And ultimately, I've done a lot of body image work, so I'm able to work through it. But it's just an experience that I have noticed in myself when I'm shopping, especially if I'm having a rougher body image day, or it's just a day that I'm really having a hard time in general. Taking up space in aisles, whether it's in a baked good mix aisle or if I'm reading like, a canned green bean label, it can just feel really uncomfortable. And so if you are a fellow celiac in a larger body and you have felt this, I just want you to know that I have been there, and I am holding so much space for you because I know it can feel really nerve-wracking. Now, I have had celiac for over 10 years now, and I have been buying products that are not labeled gluten-free and are labeled gluten-free, but of course always are gluten-free. And in all of this time, I have noticed recently that tons of companies and food labels are now removing their gluten-free claims. I truly don't know why I'm noticing this. I just know that I am noticing this when I'm grocery shopping. Things that used to have a gluten-free claim are no longer carrying that claim, and they still are gluten-free. They just don't have that gluten-free claim, which is nerve-wracking. It's unsettling. I wish it wasn't happening, but it is. So that is something that for a while I thought I was going crazy about, but then I polled you guys on Instagram and almost 600 of you agreed with me. You've been noticing this. So thank you so much for validating me. And if you've noticed this too, go ahead and let me know in the comments. But it has been unsettling to notice, to say the least. And I can't go to the grocery store without stopping at the plant section. Well, I would say that shopping trip was a success. I decided to buy some beautiful flowers. Just gonna put them in a vase. Get a nice little pick-me-up for the start of the week. I got Kyle some orange juice, and I remembered he also wanted Gatorade, so I picked him up some Gatorade. And yeah, if you found this insightful, helpful, or just overall entertaining, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. If you want more content from a fellow celiac specialized registered dietitian, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and I will see you when I see you.